Sophia stared at the blank canvas in front of her. The smell of paint hung in the air, but she couldn't bring herself to lift the brush. Just 6 months ago, she was the rising star of the city's art scene. Her paintings sold for thousands, her exhibitions drew crowds, and she was hailed as a prodigy. But all it took was one scathing review. A prominent critic had called her work uninspired and predictable. That review spread like wildfire, and with it came the whispers, the cancelled shows, and the returned commissions. The art world, once her biggest supporter, now felt like a fortress with no doors. She had tried to move on, but every time she attempted to paint, doubt clawed at her mind. Was she really just a fluke? A momentary fad? One evening, as she packed away her untouched paints, she found an old, dusty box tucked in the corner of her studio. Inside were her earliest sketches, childlike drawings of flowers, animals, and her family. Each piece was filled with raw energy and joy, imperfections beaming with life. Sophia smiled despite herself. She remembered how she used to paint for the sheer love of it, long before galleries, critics, or sales. Back then, it didn't matter if anyone liked her work. It mattered that she did. With renewed energy, she grabbed a brush and began to paint, not for the critics, not for the art world, but for herself. She painted her fears, her heartbreak, her hope. The strokes were messy, bold, and unapologetic. Days turned into weeks as she lost herself in her craft. The new paintings were unlike anything she'd ever created, raw and deeply personal. Sophia hesitated before sharing them online, but the response was overwhelming. Messages poured in from people who felt seen, moved, and inspired. Her comeback wasn't a grand exhibition or a glowing review. It was the quiet realization that failure didn't define her, it refined her. And as Sophia stood in her studio, surrounded by the chaos of pain and passion, she knew one thing for certain: she had found her voice again, stronger and more fearless than ever.